Hi, good morning, everybody. And if you're just joining us, welcome to the session this morning. My name's Helen Rossiter and I work in the Careers Information team in the Career Service. And this morning, I'm joined by my colleagues Sarah and Holly, who also work in the Careers Information team. And Sarah's going to be helping us this morning answering questions that come through via the chat. So please do post any questions through to Sarah in the chat this morning as we go along the session, and we'll also have some time at the end for questions as well. So hopefully you're here today because you're looking for a part-time job or interested in getting a part-time job. The session this morning, we've got about an hour, and that will include a presentation around finding part-time jobs. And as I mentioned, we'll have lots of time for questions and answers as well during this session. We are recording the presentation, so please do have your microphones on mute. If you would like to ask a question throughout the session, if you're happy to unmute your microphone and ask, please do, or else you can post it in the chat to Sarah, as I mentioned before as well. Holly will also be helping post some links that will be useful in the chat for you throughout the session, as well as the QR codes that you'll see in the slides. So just a little bit of housekeeping first. For those of you just joining, if you could please just register your attendance at today's session. You can scan the QR code and that will take you through to the registration form, or Holly will post the link in the chat for you if you prefer to click through and do that. And if you register for the session this morning, then you will then receive the recording of the session to your email, and you'll be able to get follow-up materials and information from the Career Service as well. So the name of the session when you go through to the form is Finding Part-Time Jobs. Holly will post the link in the chat for you if you don't get a chance to register now. If you can do that throughout the session, that would be great. Okay, so just an overview really of the presentation today, the session. We're going to look at part-time jobs and what sorts of opportunities are available. I'll go through some resources and strategies to actually help you find vacancies, and we'll also have a bit of a look at Career Connect, which is our online careers platform. Then I'll move on to what do employers look for, and maybe looking at what you have to offer those employers. And then we'll look at some need to know information, specifically some information for international and EU students around things like student visa, working on a student visa, but also getting a national insurance number, and then some things around employment rights, tax, kind of need to know information if you're job searching, and also making sure you're keeping your details safe when you're searching for jobs and avoiding scam jobs. And then we'll also look at the next step and actually applying for jobs. So we've got loads of resources for CV and application help and advice. So I'll go through some of the support available from the Career Service there too. So if you're looking for a part-time job, you may be kind of interested in the different types of opportunities that might be available. So kind of traditional part-time jobs for students might be available in retail, hospitality, cafes, restaurants, bars, customer service. These types of jobs certainly can be really useful for gaining skills. This time last year, this type of part-time work, we were in sort of lockdown due to COVID, so there weren't very many opportunities for this at all. Looking at the kind of jobs market this year, this area, because the restrictions are lifted, there are businesses who are looking for staff for these types of roles. I'll talk a little bit about how to find these types of roles a bit later on as well. But they're not the only type of part-time job that's available. So there are opportunities in a really wide range of sectors that you can sort of use to gain skills and develop some experience. So a few considerations if you're thinking about getting a part-time job, you might be looking at location if you're on campus, or looking for jobs in Manchester. Then I'll highlight some resources to help you kind of find local jobs, but also you might be a commuting student, or you might be living sort of in Greater Manchester, not near the campus, and looking for something near your home as well. So we'll also go through some ideas on maybe how to find something that's close to where you are if you're not looking for central Manchester or on campus. Also, there are remote working opportunities available. So if you are looking for something, doing some work from home, then again, I'll show you how to find those sorts of opportunities on Career Connect a little bit later as well. A really popular question we get around part-time jobs are jobs related to your degree. Can you do something to gain some experience that's relevant to your degree, or that might be of career interest to you? So we will go into a little bit of detail around the sorts of opportunities for that as well. So I'll just move on to on-campus opportunities. So really popular area. You might be interested in working for the university, working on campus. So the university does employ students in quite a wide range of roles. There's some examples in this slide here around roles that have been advertised previously, or actually might be currently being recruited for. Student ambassador roles at the university, student partner interns, who work across different departments in the university. We have student partner interns actually working with career service at the moment as well. So they are trained, they deliver our application advice sessions and also work on projects alongside staff. These types of opportunities may be advertised on a certain kind of recruitment timeline, or they might just come up as and when they're available. In a minute, I'll just show you some ideas of actually where to find these on-campus opportunities. There may be jobs working for the university that actually for specific sort of year groups, so graduate teaching assistant positions, for example, for PhD students. There are jobs at the Students' Union, both kind of bar roles, but also staff student roles. But there are also jobs working on campus, not for the university. So some companies have brand ambassador roles that you can do on a part-time basis. So you'll actually be on campus promoting that company to fellow students, but you're actually working for an external company. So where do you look for these opportunities? Career Connect is a really good starting place. So we've actually got some jobs listed on there. Currently recruiting for students, so the student fundraising roles, working for the alumni office are actually being advertised at the moment. And I'll show you how to find these in a little minute when we come on to Career Connect. You may also look for campus opportunities, use social media, or actually contact departments directly. So library jobs is something we often are asked around part-time positions at the library. University jobs do get advertised on the main university job site. That can be quite useful to look for part-time roles. All of the jobs at the university get advertised on those jobs pages. So you'll find kind of lecturing positions, management positions, academics, all ranges of jobs. So not all of them may be appropriate for students, but you can kind of look for library roles, jobs at the museum or the Whitworth Art Gallery. Those sorts of jobs may get advertised through that main university job site as well. So another common sort of question we get is around, can you find something related to your degree? So I've put this slide together really just to give you an idea of some of the part-time jobs that we've advertised in the past that might link to the faculty you're in or the degree that you're doing. So you won't find part-time jobs kind of related to every kind of career you're interested in. So, some careers you will need to have qualifications and experience to work, in that role as a part-time job. But there are some ways you can gain experience through a part-time job to give you insight into an industry or a company, and actually to develop some transferable skills for that career. Have a think about the industry that you're interested in or the degree you're doing, and that might then help you to kind of look at the transferable skills. If you have a look at the Prospects website, and Holly will post this one in the chat, Prospects website have graduate job profiles that you can actually use to find information about a whole range of skills that are required for a particular job. So that can give you an idea of the types of things you might want to look at for a part-time job. But there may be things that you can do that are kind of going to give you those transferable skills. For example, if you're doing, if you're in the Faculty of Humanities, you're interested in marketing as a career, then you may be able to get a part-time job helping a company with their social media, or doing kind of marketing or promotions, like a brand ambassador role. If you're doing drama, then there may be opportunities to do TV or film extra work. Faculty of Biology, Medicine, Health related jobs, there's a few ideas here as well, and the same for Faculty of Science and Engineering. You may also need to look though for other ways to gain career related and kind of professional experience through internships, year-end industry placement years, volunteering, or other ways other than a part-time job as well. Sarah and Holly, have any questions come through so far? It might be quite good just to pause there just to check if any questions have come through so far.
No questions yet, but if anybody has any questions, please just put them in the chat and we can go through them at intervals, or we'll take more questions at the end.
Okay, so I'll show you Career Connect, and hopefully you're attending the session today, so hopefully you've had a bit of a look at Career Connect, because you would have found the event details for the talk on Career Connect. Career Connect is where we advertise job opportunities as well. So when you log in, use your student username and password to go through the student sign-in, or if you're a graduate, you can register an account as a graduate. I'll just click through to Career Connect. Great, so this is the home page. Hopefully you can all see the Career Connect account here. So when we go through to the opportunity search, you can select from all the criteria that we've got listed in the sidebar here. So part-time jobs, if we go into part-time, this will update the list. There's actually 133 different job adverts being advertised at the moment. This looks like a brand new one that's been posted very, very recently. For example, a library student team member, they must have known we were doing this talk today and posted this. But this is where you can then search for jobs at the university, on campus jobs that will be advertised. Also, local companies in Manchester will advertise on Career Connect for looking for students to do student kind of roles. You might find larger companies as well advertising on here, but you've got a list of all the vacancies that will come up when you open the part-time search. Excuse me. If you want to select a particular occupational area, so going back, thinking then again about kind of you're interested in career related or degree related, you can select from the occupational areas here. We also have jobs with languages that may be advertised for students. So you can actually select, if you speak other languages, you can pick from the list here, and that will actually filter out any other jobs that actually are requiring language skills. So that's a useful filter as well that you can use. If you want to also look at, let's deselect that, the location I mentioned earlier on, you can select the location from here. So we will advertise jobs, Manchester-based part-time jobs, but you can also look through different regions here. If you're looking for remote working opportunities, use the quick search text at the top here. And if we put remote working in here, it should update the search. So here then you'll be able to look at the details of the jobs. If I click through, the job vacancies include a little bit of information about the company, the responsibilities, and the job description here will be in the advert that's here. It will have all of the application information, who to apply to, and how to apply. So this should all be in the advert that you'll see on Career Connect. And you can scroll down and get all the information here about that particular opportunity. If you'd like to save this as a search, you can set up your search, press save, and then you can just call save your job search, and that will allow you then to go back into Career Connect and just view the jobs that you're interested in. We do post new vacancies on Career Connect. Sort of every day there might be new vacancies going on. So at this time of year, it's really good either to save up, set a search up, so you don't miss any vacancies that come through. And then it's really easy to go back into your saved searches each time you want to have a look. If you want to find University of Manchester jobs specifically as well, you can put that in the organisation search. So if you're looking for the University of Manchester, search that and it will bring up here the jobs that are being advertised. Are there any sort of questions coming through around using Career Connect? Actually, that might be a useful time just to stop, Sarah, just to see if anyone's got any queries about sort of searching via Career Connect for opportunities.
Not specifically on Career Connect at the moment.
Okay.
But if you do have questions, just put them in the chat.
So Career Connect, really good source for part-time job opportunities, but there are lots of other places that you can search for part-time jobs. The QR code in this slide will just take you straight to our Finding Part-Time Jobs page. So on the website, there are a few websites that are kind of student part-time job specific, so they can be useful if you're looking for jobs. There are, of course, websites like Indeed that you can use to search for jobs. Can be quite useful for part-time jobs. Just be aware, not all the jobs will be kind of appropriate for students. They'll include a wide range of things on those sorts of job sites. The Job Centre Plus have a Twitter feed, which is Jobs in Manchester. So they're linked there at JCP in Manchester. You can follow them if you have a Twitter account, or you can look on the Job Centre Plus website and filter vacancies for Manchester or other areas for part-time work. Using social media and LinkedIn, again, can be a really good way to find part-time opportunities. Not all companies will post job adverts on websites. They might tweet, or they might put something on Facebook or LinkedIn that they're recruiting. So using social media can be a great way to hear about opportunities. We have got a section on our website all about using LinkedIn, connecting with employers and social media. So if you were looking at that, that's an area that we can provide some advice on as well around how to look for opportunities using those kind of social media. Recruitment agencies can be a useful way to find part-time jobs. If you're not familiar with using a recruitment agency, they work on behalf of a company. So they're usually free to use in the UK. You may have to register to get opportunities, or you may be able to just search on their websites. For example, Reed, you can search on their websites. They can be useful for finding jobs in particular areas or fields. So some agencies may specialise, for example, in healthcare or kind of support roles, or customer service, call centre type of work. So they can be useful, and there's some information through on our website about using agencies. Another way to find vacancies is to go direct to the organisation. So it may be that you've got particular companies in mind that you'd really like to work for, then going direct to the website. If it's a big company, they may have a careers or a jobs page with listings on there. If you're interested in areas like retail, We've got some really huge shopping centres in Manchester. There's the Trafford Centre, got the Arndale in the city centre, and they actually have a jobs page on the website. That's a really useful way to find vacancies that might be coming up at any of the kind of stores within that shopping centre. So going direct to the organisation often can be a useful way to find vacancies. Again, if you're looking for something in a particular sector or particular type of work, then you might want to then look more at sector-specific resources. And Holly's got a link for us to our Which Career pages on the website. I think Holly will post that in the chat. And our Which Career pages contain information about a whole range of different jobs and careers areas, and they give you some vacancy sources to help you maybe look for part-time jobs. So again, they might not be all kind of relevant to do as a part-time job as a student. If you're a postgraduate student, or if you've got a sort of kind of previous work experience or a change in career, then and looking for something very specific as a part-time role, then those sector-specific resources might come in useful as well. And then some other strategies. So as well as just finding and applying to vacancies, informal adverts. And now what I mean here is that some companies may just advertise via a poster in their window. So if you walk down Oxford Road, there are a huge number of businesses and bars, and cafes, supermarkets. Some companies will just post a sign saying, we're recruiting, because they'll get a number of interested people walking past. So that's one way. If you're looking for that particular type of work, have a walk around the campus. You could even take a CV with you and go in and ask at some of those businesses if they're recruiting. I think Subway on Oxford Road is one example. Last week, I think they may have had a sign in the window. So be proactive, go out and actually seek opportunities and see if anywhere are advertising that informal sort of way. Ask around as well, ask friends who might have part-time jobs, if, how they found their job, and also are the company they work for recruiting. So there are ways you can kind of be proactive and ask around. One option I've listed here as self-employment or doing freelance work. If you're interested in doing sort of running your own business, or if you've got like a side sort of line activity, or you make crafts, for example, and then looking at selling those, starting a business or being self-employed is something some students may do alongside the study, but have a look and be very aware, because there's kind of quite a lot of considerations around doing this option. There are kind of legal considerations. You need to be aware of tax, national insurance, contracts. So there is support if you're a student and you're actually looking to start a business. The Masood Enterprise Centre at the university have lots of support and resources if you're interested in starting a business. It's useful to note here as well that there may be some part-time job roles that will be operating on a freelance basis. So it typically is in things like tutoring. So you may see tutoring vacancies on Career Connect. Now, often they may require you to be working on a freelance basis. Now, for international students or EU students on a student visa, being self-employed is one of the areas that you're not allowed to do on a student visa. So it's really important that you check, if you are on a student visa, check what you can and can't do. Self-employment, sort of working on a freelance basis, is one of the sort of activities that you can't do on a student visa. I've got a link later on in the presentation. I'll direct you towards the information on that. So the Student Union Job Shop, they couldn't be here with us unfortunately today. to join us for the talk. They sent a couple of slides with information for you. So the Student Union Job Shop is actually based on the ground floor of the Students' Union on Oxford Road, and they have a website and you can browse different opportunities for student part-time jobs on here as well. So they post vacancies that might be university based and in other sort of local companies. Quite a wide range of roles again. Past vacancies have included hospitality, healthcare, marketing, tutoring, and more. They have run a part-time jobs fair in previous years. Look out on their job shop website for updates about activities this year. If we go through to the next slide, I've got the link here for you. So you can scan the QR code, that will take you direct to the job shop, and their website is here as well. They've also got Twitter that you can follow. They'll be posting jobs through there as well. So the range of employers they actually work with here and have advertised: Old Trafford, Lancashire Cricket Club. I think there are some opportunities being advertised at the moment for there, but there are a whole range of other jobs. Actually, Christmas at Dun & Massey up here, this is quite a good time of year now to be on the lookout. If you're looking for a vacation job to do during Christmas holidays, companies are starting to recruit now for Christmas. So if you're kind of looking at a job during the Christmas holiday, you'll use some of these resources because you will see Christmas vacancies being advertised around about now as well. Typically, it might be retail or events that go on, like the kind of light shows at Dun & Massey and other places. So it's worth looking out now if you're looking for those Christmas opportunities too. Sarah, have any questions come through? Or shall I move on to kind of looking at what employers look for?
We've got a couple of interesting questions, which I've answered to some extent in the chat, but there might be things that other people are interested in. We've had questions about, do part-time jobs require specific skills? And yes, some part-time jobs do require specific skills if it is something where only a particular skill might be needed. So let's just say you're working on an IT help desk. You might be required to have relatively sort of high IT skills or no particular software. Otherwise, as you can see in this list of skills can be quite generic that you could actually gain from a wide variety of different areas, and these what we quite often call transferable skills. So yes, a specific skill might be needed for a specific job, and if you've done a particular job or used a skill a lot in the past, an employer will look at your CV, or when you're talking to them, they'll see that you've already used that skill a lot. Maybe you've worked in a coffee shop before. Oh yes, you should be able to adapt to the way we work in our coffee shop quite quickly, and they'll be able to see that you'll be adaptable quite quickly. But usually there's a willingness to train people, as long as you've got the basic skills, know how to communicate with people, work as part of a team, can show that you've done that in other settings. A lot of employers can see that quite quickly. We had a question about whether banks advertise part-time roles, and not just banks, but other industries where it's not traditionally a student type job. They might advertise those roles, but I would say probably look on their websites because it wouldn't be necessarily something that an organisation would think of that a student would want to do, or that might necessarily fit around student hours. But if you think about when you go into your local bank branch, or maybe a building society or an estate agent, those businesses operate quite often at weekends. They may not operate in the evenings, but they might have part-time jobs that would suit. Banks, I think, are pretty unlikely to put a sign in the window. However, they would advertise it either locally, so check Job Centre Plus, check local media, but also check that bank's website or any other specific industry like that where you think, I'd really like to work in that type of industry, see if I can gain a bit of very specific experience.
You might also find for banks, call centre sort of work, or if you're doing customer service, so RBS or Lloyds or the big banks may recruit kind of part-time roles working in those kind of customer service positions. So that might be where agencies come in as well. They're a little bit useful if companies are looking for a large amount of staff, for example. And yeah, it's worth keeping an eye out, Sarah said, on the companies, and you might find those kind of vacancies on some of the big Job Centre Plus work websites, those sorts of things.
We also have a question about vaccination status and if there are any jobs that require you to show that. At the moment, I'm only aware of care home staff where it's being made mandatory, and it's a matter of some debate at the moment. It's not being a very popular move. I know there is some suggestion that they would like all healthcare staff to be vaccinated, but whether that would be made mandatory, I'm not sure. They're having enough trouble at the moment. But obviously, to protect yourself, protect your colleagues, protect your customers, just to ensure that you're not, you don't want to get unwell, but also if you're sick, you might well be missing out on hours, you might be missing out on shifts, you might be having to self-isolate. It's just a good idea to get vaccinated. And if you've got that vaccination in the UK, you'll be able to get proof of vaccination. And if anybody asks about it, you've got it. It's just one of those things you've got.
Great question. Really good question.
We've also got a question about national insurance numbers. Could you post the link for national insurance numbers, Holly, in the chat? It is a simplified process now. You can actually apply online, I believe, Helen, is that correct?
You can, yeah. Well, I'll come on in a minute. We've got the links for national insurance numbers as well. Yes, you can apply online now for national insurance number, which is brilliant because it used to be by telephone only. So yeah, we'll that's great timing for that question, because we'll come on to that in a minute as well. Were there any more, Sarah, sort of at this point, or if anybody wants to ask sort of at this point?
You can't do part-time jobs or any kind of paid work without a national insurance number. No, had that question. You do have to get one. You can start work without one, but you need to get one ASAP, because you just won't be able to get paid, and you'll get paid on wrong tax codes and all sorts of things. And yeah, you'll have to get one. It doesn't take long, not hard.
It's free to apply, and if you apply through the government website, if you at least apply now, if you're intending to do work this time of year, it may take a while to actually get the number issued. If you're going to start work in the meantime, the employer usually, if you tell them that you've applied for it, there'll be like a temporary kind of measure a number that they can put you on. So just bear in mind, if you are looking, you can apply now without having a job, because then that might just make the process a little bit quicker in terms of work, because any non-UK students will need to apply for it. So this time of year, beginning of the academic term, then it's usually a lot busier. Saying that, now the process is online, that might have kind of speeded things up in terms of the application process. So we've got the link, and I've got some other information about that as well. We'll come into in a minute.
And only apply via the government website. There are all sorts of companies out there who will promise you all sorts of things for a fee. You do not need to pay a fee. Just do it direct. That's it for now.
That's it. Fantastic. Thanks. Keep the questions coming. So Sarah mentioned this was one of the questions. What do employers look for? It really does depend on the job. So if you haven't worked before, if you're looking for a part-time job now, and that's going to be the first kind of real work that you've done, there are employers who don't need previous experience. They'll be looking for you to, Sarah sort of mentioned before, around showing that you're willing to learn, that you're enthusiastic, that you can get there on time, that you're organised. So they'll look for kind of general transferable skills. If you're applying with no previous experience, look at the activities that you've done before university, or look at if you've had any volunteering roles or any positions of responsibility, or even looking at things like doing a group project. So try and think of other activities that you might include on your CV that kind of demonstrates those skills to the employer. This skills kind of list here, I've actually just pulled this from one of the student ambassador roles that's on Career Connect, and it's just to give you an idea of some of the skills this particular job requires. You'll see quite a variety when you're looking at job vacancies. Some employers may just have a couple of bullet points of what they're looking for. Others will have, a full page of skills required. So it really just depend on the employer and the job that's being advertised. I'm going to just move on to this next slide, which I just wanted to include to give you a snapshot of the skills in demand from graduate employers. So this is taken from an insight report, Future Jobs by the World Economic Forum, which gives you an idea today at this point in time. These are the sorts of skills that are in demand from graduate employers. If you kind of compare that with the previous slide, you can see lots of parallel kind of skills there. So kind of the point here is around, if you're doing a part-time job, the skills that you'll be gaining and developing through doing that are really useful to include on your CV and valued by employers. So kind of don't undersell and don't undervalue the skills that you're gaining from a part-time job. So that's just a bit of a snapshot of the skills there. There is another variation of this, which is looking ahead to 2022 and some of the kind of new emerging things that are coming in. But I just wanted to just put that in there to give you a bit of an idea around how the skills from part-time jobs, really, you can kind of transfer them and use them in your future internship or job applications. If you're interested in finding out how else you can develop employability skills and transferable skills, we have a section on our career service website, which is all about skills. So it will give you a bit of a definition, what is problem solving, and then we'll give you some ideas of other activities you can do to actually develop those skills, and then you can think about how you talk about them in an interview. So I think Holly will post that in the chat for us. And just thinking about other activities you can do as well, or instead of a part-time job, right from your first year, there are opportunities for you to get involved. I mentioned earlier around kind of career-related or degree-related jobs, finding professional kind of relevant experience for certain areas, obviously through summer internships, year in industry placements. That's when developing some relevant experience will be useful to look at those opportunities. And for first years, things like insight days and insight weeks for certain industries like banking, finance, these can be useful activities to help you build experience and skills. Competitions is quite an interesting one when you're looking at ways to kind of develop skills or get some experience or insight with employers. If you're looking, for example, for coding experience, then it may be being involved in hackathons. There are competitions run by large kind of graduate recruitment companies. There's a section on our website. We've actually listed some competitions that are being run, which can give you a bit of something a bit different, really, for your CV. But that is one thing to have a look at if you're looking at ways that you might be able to gain some experience. We've got volunteering, peer mentoring, joining a society, and then I've just mentioned here around if you want to do a module that's outside your main sort of degree area, you've got university college, and things like the Ethical Grand Challenges and Stellar Fire Award. Again, great ways to develop employability skills, to include on your CV and your kind of skills development. The URL code at the corner down there, that will take you through to this section of our careers website where you'll be able to click through to all of these other activities to get experience and develop skills. So the need to know information, we mentioned about national insurance numbers sort of already. For EU international students, if you're on a student route visa, which is formerly the Tier 4 visa, and that's on a degree level course, you can work up to 20 hours a week. Now, your visa, type of visa and the course that you're on will kind of determine the work in the UK alongside your study. So it's really important that you check that. If in any doubt, check with the student immigration team based within student services. So I've included the link here. The URL code will take you straight through to their website with the information about working during your study. So please do check that if you're unsure how much you can work and the activities that you can't do on a student visa, like the self-employment. So that's all detailed on the student immigration team website. So if you can work up to 20 hours a week during term time, you may be able to then work in the vacation time full time. So for undergraduates, that would be sort of Christmas, Easter, summer vacation. For both postgraduate taught students, it's slightly different. The summer isn't considered vacation time. It's academic kind of time where you'll be completing dissertation and so on. So those regulations are also on the student immigration team website link, which is there. So do check through, make sure you're aware of everything around that. So national insurance number, hopefully we kind of covered that in the question. The government website is the place to check for the information how to apply. If you are looking for part-time work, it's worth looking at that application process now, so that once you actually get a job, then you can just provide that number straight to the employer. So the employer will ask for a national insurance number when they offer you the job. So you will need to get that if you haven't got a national insurance number already. There's a couple of links here around making sure you know about your employment rights, things like minimum wage, tax. There's a student tax guide that you can click through to from that URL code in the bottom right corner here. So there's also information how to keep yourself and your personal details safe when you're searching for jobs. So if you're using websites and you're doing job search online, it's really important just to be aware that there may be some scam jobs or job postings that aren't genuine. Just something to be aware of, especially at this time of year when students are looking for part-time jobs. If a job is being advertised and it's got a really, really high salary, that's all something just to be a little bit aware of. Don't provide your financial details online. If there's anything that doesn't match up with a vacancy being advertised and, for example, the contact details or the email address looks a bit suspect, then there are just some things to be aware of when you're searching for jobs. So the information we have on avoiding scam jobs on our website has just got some things there just to help you be sort of more aware when you're searching for jobs. The Student Union Job Shop also have some tips on avoiding scam job adverts as well on their website. So hopefully, once you've found a job and you want to apply, there'll be time then to work on your CV and your applications. So employers may take a CV and a covering letter as part of the application, or you may need to complete an online application form, which is more common maybe with larger companies where there's one application that will kind of fit all roles, for example. So usually on the job vacancy itself, there will be the details of how to apply. If you haven't got a CV, or you are starting to draft one, there's lots of resource on our website to help you actually get your CV drafted and ready to apply. So we have new pathways on Career Connect that you can follow for CV advice and CV preparation. You can do an application and covering letter pathway, and then we've also got a pathway for assessment, tests and interviews. So the pathways include lots of activities and resources and videos, e-learning resources to actually help you create and kind of get your applications ready to apply. The QR code in this slide will take you through to all the information about pathways, and then they will click through directly to your Career Connect account. The CV pathway includes Career Set, which is a website you can upload your CV to, and you'll receive a score out of 100 for your CV, and then you also get some personalized kind of feedback on it. So Career Set is one of the activities on the CV pathway that if you complete that, if you score 70 and above, then you will unlock the one-to-one CV review appointments. But that's a really useful website. You can just get some sort of instant feedback on your CV there to help you develop it. So I mentioned CV appointments. We also have application appointments. So if you want to get feedback on a covering letter, an application form, or a personal statement that you might have to do for a job application, then you can book an applications appointment through Career Connect. We've also got lots of online workshops coming up listed on Career Connect. You can also watch workshops that have already taken place on our YouTube channel. So this week we've actually had a CV get ready CV workshop, and you can access anything that you've missed on our YouTube channel. It's really important, I think, just here to make a note, if you're doing an application for a part-time job, try to tailor your CV covering letter direct to the job that you're applying for. So thinking back to the kind of skills list for on a job description, try to think about what that employer is looking for and try to give them the evidence of that on your CV. This is actually a really useful technique to sort of start when you're doing part-time job applications, because you know this is something that you'll use over and over again in your career if you're applying for internships, placements and graduate jobs. So it's great to kind of get in the practice of tailoring your applications at this point as well. In the UK, it's usually a sort of a 2-page CV standard, but there may be times where a 1-page CV might be useful for part-time jobs. If you don't have much previous experience, for example, or so there may be sometimes when a 1-page CV is useful. If you look at the CV resources that we have on the pathway, you can also find CV templates to give you some ideas of actually what to include on your CV. And there's lists of impactful words that you can use as well to actually, help you to write about your skills and your experience. Don't forget in future as well, if you have done a part-time job, don't forget to include all those skills that you've gained during the part-time job on your future applications. Sarah, have we got any questions sort of that point around either our CV resources or?
We had a question in the chat about CV appointments. I've just answered it basically, but for CV appointments, you can only book once you have completed the CV pathway. You can have 2 CV appointments in any 30-day period. This information is all on the website and it explains about it. But most people who do the pathways don't need a CV appointment as a follow-up because they've actually found out everything they needed to know. And it is all about tailoring your CV to the job that you're going for. But those are there if you need them. The applications advice one, again, we would advise you to do the pathway first, just so that when you arrive at an application or CV appointment, cover letter appointment, you've actually got all the basics down and you can ask those really meaningful questions. There's no point in going with the blank sheet of paper saying, what do I need to do? And it's like, well, if you go through some of the activities, you'll have more of an idea. Come to us with any questions that are really, really difficult for you to work out yourself.
Might be useful actually just to say, I don't know how everyone attending today sort of know if everybody knows what a covering letter is. Covering letter, often you would send it along with a CV. It's written like a letter, or sometimes it's called a motivation letter, but it includes why you're applying for the job, why you're interested in working for the company, and then kind of a brief summary of how you're the right candidate kind of for the job. So the covering letter often would go along and accompany your CV, but the resources that we have, if you follow the kind of the pathway, there's lots of guidance there around how to write a covering letter. So it is the first time that you're doing that, then yeah, you may want to book an appointment to get some feedback on that. I don't know if that was helpful for everyone at all, but yeah, it's something that we often get asked, what's a covering letter, because it may be that it's familiar, it's called something slightly different, like motivation letter or so on. So if you need any further support as well from careers, you can contact us in any of the sort of following ways. We've got a web chat that runs Monday to Friday. If you've got any quick messages, you can just send us a message online. You can reach Holly, Sarah and myself direct through the queries button on Career Connect. So you can send us an email through Career Connect that way with any kind of questions that you've got. Sarah, Holly and I also run drop-in sessions from next Monday. They will be going every weekday, Monday to Friday, from 10 until 11 every morning, and they're on Zoom. So you can find the link for those in the event section in Career Connect. You'll also be able to look at all of our workshops in Career Connect, and you can book one-to-one appointments in Career Connect. So the application, CV reviews, and also careers meetings. So if you want to discuss, what sort of experience would be good to get for a career you're interested in, if you've got no idea what you want to do after your course and want to get some career guidance, then you can of course book careers meetings as well. It might be just worth at that point as well, just want to highlight the information that we have got on our website for equality, diversity and inclusion. So, we, as the career service, we would do just want to sort of make you aware that we know that not everyone has the same experience of job searching and going through the recruitment processes. So, we offer kind of impartial advice and guidance. So you can find information on our web pages there as well. We're quite close to the end of the session actually, but are there any other questions that have come through, Sarah, or things that we might need to kind of mention that we've not already kind of covered in the session?
There aren't any further questions at the moment, although if anybody's got anything quick, pop it in. One thing I just think we got a lot of people ask about is, especially for the CV and application review appointments, they are bookable on a 24-hour rolling period. So 24 hours in advance, you'll see the ones for 24 hours time. So if it's 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursday and you want to see the ones at 10 o'clock on Friday, you'll need to wait till 10 o'clock on Thursday to see them. It confuses a lot of people. It confuses us sometimes. You don't know what time of day it is. You don't even know what day of the week it is sometimes. And you think there's none available. There are, you just need to wait for that 24-hour window to open, and then you'll be able to see the ones that are available in that time period.
Great, thank you, Sarah. Thank you everyone as well for coming along today. We hope it's been a useful session for you, just to kind of outline some of the useful resources and ways to search. But if you do have any follow-up questions, or if you need any kind of help with any of the information we've covered today, or you have questions, please do get in touch with us. As I said, you can Zoom in, see me, Sarah or Holly on the drop-in sessions, or send us a query or the web chat. So please do let us know if you have any questions after today's session. Okay, I'll end the session. Thanks again, everyone. And hopefully we'll see you all again soon.